What's going on, everyone? Austin John Place here, and today we're going to be talking about the Cinderace Spotlight event that's coming up and possible prep that we could be doing for it in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The Cinderace event is going to be starting Thursday night, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight GMT UTC, and the following day, 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I figured that we would take a look at the Charizard Mightiest Mark that we faced, see if we could draw any conclusions about what we're going to be facing with Cinderace. Because from data mining, we know it's possible moves that it can learn, but we don't know exactly what we're going to be facing in that raid. So now that we have a whole bunch of information, we need to organize it in a nice and fashionable manner that we can learn from. I'm going to take some time and format this so that this looks pretty. First, let's take a look at what Charizard was, because we greatly over-prepared for it, and now that we can look back at what actually a 7-star presented to us, we could have some ideas going forward. So Charizard had Dragon Pulse, Fire Blast, Hurricane, and Focus Blast. All of those were special type attacks. It had its 2-stab, it had its Terra Stab, and it had, I guess, what you would call a coverage move, although it didn't cover its weaknesses, like, at all. It covered the weakness to Rock, which it wasn't weak to Rock, although Rock would resist both Fire and Flying, but not Dragon Pulse. So I don't know. Additional moves: Overheat, Terra Blast, Sunny Day, and Inferno, 3 of which were all TM moves, and Inferno was its level up move. Again, all of the attacks are special type attacks, and Sunny Day it only triggered once the shield was down. So what I'm thinking we may see for the 7-star level 100 Shiny Locked Mightiest Mark Only Catch 1 Cinderace event, it may have High Jump Kick, Flare Blitz, Zen Headbutt, and Gunk Shot. All of them are TM moves. It has its 1-stab move, Flare Blitz, it only has 1 typing. It has its stab Terra move, High Jump Kick. It would probably also have Terra Blast. And then Zen Headbutt and Gunk Shot I see as 2 possibilities to have for a coverage move. In which case, Gunk Headshot would be a pretty good coverage move against Fairy type, and Zen Headbutt for coverage. And then what I see its additional moves possibly being Pyro Ball, which is its signature move via level up, as well as Court Change, not sure about that one, Terra Blast, and it may also have Sunny Day that it would do when the shield is down. Some other moves it could have: Acrobatics, Takedown, and Iron Head. I think these are a little bit less likely, but it's still a possibility because basically the whole thing is, it doesn't matter if it's 100% accurate, it just wants to be the highest, most damaging moves. And moves like High Jump Kick or Flare Blitz that would give it recoil damage, the recoil isn't going to be a lot at 25 times its original health. It's 25 times the same that 6 stars are. This moveset is pretty similar to like what most people ran on Smogon for a competitive Cinderace. And then Pyro Ball is just a slightly more accurate physical Fire Blast. Definitely see that as being an option. Court Change is really interesting. I never used Court Change during my actual playthrough, but Court Change switches the Mist, Light Screen, Reflect Spikes, Safeguard, Tailwind, Toxic Spike, Stealth Rock, Water Pledge, Fire Pledge, Grass Pledge, Sticky Rebel, Aurora Veil from the user side to the target side. It swaps them. And I think the only one that would actually really affect us is Reflect. If someone were to do a Reflect to give your team more defense, there is a chance that Court Change is going to change that to their side. But I think we would only see Court Change at the shield down mark. You know what I mean? It's sort of like that, hey, here's my last moment, my last hoorah, I'm going to try to, turn the tides of the battle. That's the reason Charizard does Sunny Day with solar power. Now, this raises a question of, is Cinderace going to have Libero? It's the ability that changes its type to match the move that it does. Now, Libero has changed dramatically from the previous generation to now, that it's only going to trigger once in a battle. It's not going to trigger every single time you do a move. So if he did High Jump Kick, he would turn into a fighting type, which he already is Terra fighting. But then if he were to do Flare Blitz, he would then change to a fire type. But he would just remain that fire type. If he were to do Gunk Shot, he wouldn't become a poison type. If he did Zen Headbutt, he wouldn't become psychic. If he did High Jump Kick, he wouldn't be fighting. Because of that, it may not actually run Libero. I don't know if that works that way. I have a Pokemon with Libero. I could actually test this out. So I obviously don't have a Pokemon with Libero, as that's Cinderace's signature move, but I do have my Meowscarada who has Protein, and Protein and Libero work exactly the same. So if I were to Terrastalize into a Grass type and then do Sucker Punch, I then become a Grass type and then immediately change that to Dark type? I don't know, I've just never done this. I used an ability patch on Shiny Meowscarada and he's been sitting on the box ever since. So that was interesting. My ability didn't kick in. Because normally see that when the ability is gonna change. Does Terrastalizing negate that ability? Is that what's going on here? Because like I've used Protein on Meowscarada in raids before, but you know, I have 3 turns and I'm going from Grass Dark to pure Grass. So because of that, I haven't really experienced it starting off as Terra Grass. I never noticed that she had an Articuno necklace. I saw the Lunala belt, that was pretty obvious. So if I were to Terrastalize to a Grass type and do Sucker Punch, I just become Grass and stay Grass, right? There's the Sucker Punch, super effective. Oh, that's right, it's Zoroark. It actually got me. So now if I do Sucker Punch again, I don't become a Dark type. No. So my Protein is just not going to activate whatsoever. So if we fight Libero Cinderace, and he does have Protein, it's not gonna make a difference because he's still going to remain fighting type. So for that reason, is it still going to be Protein? I would think so, right? I think that's what we're gonna be going up against. So if that's the case, and this is the Cinderace we're looking at, and he is going to be a fighting type, pure fighting and just remain fighting for the entire battle, it seems like we have a lot of counters that we can use here. I mean, if he does have Gunk Shot or Iron Head, then a Fairy type is probably not a good choice to bring. If he has Psychic, Poison, Fighting, Flying, Fire moves, Psychic type seems like a good option here. Or even Flying type. Do we have a good Flying type? I haven't built a Flying type. I'm just looking now, and I'm thinking Mightiest Mark Charizard might work for this if you changed its Terra from Dragon to Flying. Because you're gonna resist the fire moves, you're gonna resist the fighting moves. When you Terrastalize to Flying, you're going to lose the resistance to the fighting moves. Fluttermane would be immune to all the fighting moves because it is part Ghost. And then if it did have Gunk Shot or Iron Head, Fluttermane is gonna be hit super effective by that. Probably not a good choice. Same thing goes for Sylveon. I did make a meme set of a physical Slowbro. It's so bad that I didn't even want to change its Terra type. Annihilate isn't a good choice if it does have Acrobatics. A Psychic though, like Gardevoir with Calm Mind, Reflect, Draining Kiss. My friend Callum got a recommendation from Ryuna Cuddles. Great name, love it. Espathra might be a good choice here. So you could have Reflect to resist the physical moves, Luma Crash, which decreases their special defense, Roost for recovery, Shell Bell with Luma Crash, Opportunist, so if it increases its stats, then you get an increase as well. Full special attack and full physical defense might be a good option here. Oh, and then also if you had stored power, so all the boosts that you're getting, even if it's increasing its physical attack, you could use the stored power for that. That might be a dope move. I'm gonna build up an Espathra. I already shiny hunted one and it's Psychic. Oh no, this one just walked up to me while I was hunting Wugtrio. All right, so when it comes to Espathra, there's 3 builds that I came up with. One is gonna be if he has moves that are gonna hit you with secondary effects that are gonna be very bad, like Hurricane caused that confusion. So because of that, we ran Covert Cloak on a lot of Pokemon, but Covert Cloak Opportunist, in case it does any stat boosts, That's gonna be really, really helpful. And then you have Reflect to increase your physical defense, Calm Mind to increase your special attack, Lumacrash to decrease their special defense and do damage, and then Roost if ever you need health recovery. But what I'm personally going to be building is Shell Bell with Lumacrash, because every time you do Lumacrash 3 times, it gets more and more powerful. Calm Mind to increase your special attack, still Reflect, and then my 4th slot, since I don't need that recovery, I'm going to have Helping Hand. Just because that's going to be an extra move in case I decide to go solo or co-op. So this is a little bit more of a versatile Espathra. This is what I'm going to be running. As far as the EVs, just full defense, full special attack. Throw the last 4 in health because you don't have a lot of health. If you wanted to build a full support Espathra, leftovers, Lumacrash for the still special defense drops, Helping Hand, Reflect, Roost. But I think this one right here is going to be the money. Turn 1 person does Reflect, 3 people do Lumacrash. That puts them at -6 special defense, which because it's a secondary effect, it will still work during shield. Then during turn 2, you could do Lumacrash. That's going to be at -6 special defense for a lot of damage. Everyone else does Helping Hand. It's going to be a lot of damage. You may not even have to do the Calm Mind. But if I'm running solo, depending on his debuff pattern, I think he's going to do at shield removes my effects, but not his own. So I'm going to do Lumacrash the 1 or 2 times that are necessary to get down to shield. Once I get to shield, I'm going to be just spamming Calm Mind as much as I can. And then once I get that +6 special attack, I can do my 3rd Lumacrash, which is going to heal me up. I'm going to do my 3rd Lumacrash before that if I need to heal. And then my 4th one, I'm going to be able to Terrastalize for big damage. I think that's how this is going to play out best. This is the specific Espathra that I'm going to build, except mine is shiny and she's a lady. She's a lady, don't get it confused. Oh! I just thought about Speed Boost, Calm Mind, Stored Power. If you had Speed Boost, Calm Mind, then you're getting +3 during those turns. Stored Power at the end of the 6th turn is going to be a guaranteed 140 base. Plus, if you're doing Lumacrash for 3 turns, you're getting those special defense drops. That's going to be a lot of damage. That might be a fun for the lols kind of build. And then the Shell Bell for recovery. Maybe try that out, but that requires that ability patch. The only other thing I would say is that if it doesn't have any ability to increase its stats, maybe throw Speed Boost on everyone. Not that that's going to make a big difference without the stored power. So that's an option too. Well guys, if there's any builds that you're going to be using for the Cinderace event or that you're going to be preparing beforehand, leave a comment down below. If you see one that you like, upvote those comments so everyone else sees them. If you're excited for this event and our 2nd transfer only Pokemon, which keep in mind, he is shiny locked, but you could breed it down for a shiny Raboot and... Why am I blanking on the first form's name? Bunny? Fire Bunny? I don't know why I'm blanking so much on what its name is. Libero? Score Bunny! That's him, Score Bunny. Yeah, last gen I was Team Grookey Gang, so there's that. You can shiny hunt for Score Bunny via breeding. Great, that's what I wanted to say. Till next time, Austin John out.
Man, they see me shining like I got the charm. Stay strapped, got that jet ball in my palm. Fell from the sky, guess I'm the chosen one. And if you need to know how, check out Austin John. Champion flow, yeah, I got that champion flow.